Hey there YouTube, Dr. Yash here. Welcome back to the fob. Yeah, we're sitting on a desk in the fob, but this doesn't have anything to do with it. This is just, we're just in this location. So what this is, some of you will know if you looked at this title and you looked it up because of a Seadoo, you'll know what this is. But if you're just one of my regular subscribers, you won't know what this is. So I'm going to give a little bit of backstory. And this might help out some of the Seadoo guys too, because maybe you don't know how the DESS system works. I've seen a couple of forum posts and put some puzzle pieces together and went and did some probing and testing of my own and came up with a bit of a solution for a common problem with these keys. So, introductory video. I got a 1996 Seadoo GTI a few weeks ago. You can look that up. It's a jet ski. Now, jet ski is the brand of Kawasaki personal watercraft, but that's what everybody calls them. So, and that's what I generally call them. But that's pedantics. So I'm just going to call it a Seadoo for this video because that's what the company calls them. So you're looking at a floating safety lanyard for that would fit a 96 to 2014 Seadoo. Or Skidoo. Obviously you wouldn't need it to float in the snow. A Skidoo is a snowmobile. But this used to be this. What happens with these is this rubber rots, and because it's really soft, and so it doesn't take a whole lot before they rot away into just having the guts here. So what's special about this, and why do I need both of them? Why does this have wires hanging out of it? Because this, you know, if you know what you're looking at, you're like, why has he got wires hanging out of it? So I've come up with a solution to a problem. The problem is it's a 1996, and that's the first year for a system called DESS, which is digitally encoded security system. And what that boils down to is you got to take it to a dealer to have keys programmed to something called an MPEM. I'll just refer to that as an MPEM to make it easy to, it's got a better ring to it. So the MPEM is looking for a transponder chip in the key. In 96, before the auto industry started doing that, Seadoo started doing that. So I guess people were stealing jet skis and stuff, and they just decided they needed a better security system. So they started putting this chip inside their keys. So instead of the basically 89 to 95 models having just this type of key with a little magnet inside of it, that all it did was activate the read switch. Now they've added a chip to the same type of switch. It's a slightly larger diameter, so it's not really physically compatible with the earlier version. But that can be a problem, because if I lose this key, which I have lost a couple times because it's so small, then I can't start it at all. It won't do anything. It'll just beep at me because it's mad that it doesn't have the right key. Even then, you got to wake up the MPEM to even get it to get mad at you. So this is a key that has a transponder in it for said Seadoo. Well, there tends to be a little bit of a problem for me, at least, because the nearest BRP dealer is nearly 2 hours in either direction. You have to set up an appointment with the dealer. You have to find a dealer who is willing to do any work to a 1996. Apparently there are a few dealers who don't work on anything older than certain years. Kind of like the RV industry, apparently. They got a lot of places will have a 10-year rule. I haven't even checked with my local dealers. I didn't even bother. The other option is you can either buy a key from someone or send them a key when you mail off your MPEM, mail it to them, have them program it, and pay shipping back and forth and pay for them to program it. Or you can order an aftermarket MPEM that has DESS disabled by default, and then you can use this key without programming it. But you know, then you're at the mercy of aftermarket electronics. which may or may not be a good idea. I haven't done it myself. I don't know if they are complete garbage, but I know the factory stuff still works great. And it's 29 years old and looks brand new because it's in an airtight, sealed electrical box. So I trust that it's going to keep working. So for the sake of convenience, I decided to try something. So I'll explain how this key works and what it does to wake up the machine and how the system functions. It's actually very simple. It has 3 wires that are attached to the back of the post that this goes on, called the DESS post. So it has a ring on the outside and it has a little nub on the tip of it. So you can look up a DESS post on Google and you'll see what I'm talking about. So it's a waterproof little nub that sticks out of the dash. You pop this on there, and when everything is correct, you put this on. The Seadoo goes beep beep, 2 short high-pitched beeps. You hold down your start button, it starts. You go on about your business. If this is not programmed, you put this on there, nothing happens. You go to hold down the start button, you get 1 long beep and nothing happens. So it's basically just saying, no, I don't see the chip I want to see. I see something else that I'm not programmed to accept. Obviously I can't use this key the same way I could use that, but it still has a function. So any programmed key you'd be able to do this with. So like I said, there's 3 wires on the post. You put this on, the magnet inside, it closes a reed switch, a magnetic reed switch, energizes the MPEM, wakes it up, and that jumps the black wire and the black wire with a yellow tracer. And as soon as that happens, the MPEM, only on boot up, it only reads the chip 1 time. When it reads the chip, it's reading from the black wire to the white with a gray tracer. So the fix is, I have a black wire here that will be grounded to the common ground inside the electrical box, and this white wire will be connected to the white wire with a gray tracer. So the transponder key actually does not wake up the MPEM, only the magnet. The magnet is fully capable by itself of turning the MPEM on and off. The transponder is only there to validate the key. If this is in circuit, everything will function as normal if you use any magnet, but more specifically using a key for the machine, even if it's not programmed. Is what I'm going to do. I've already started. You disconnect the white wire and you hook this up in the circuit. You secure this inside the box, and whatever key will fit over that desk post will operate the machine. So it's actually not far removed from, like an old PlayStation. If you ever had a mod chip in a PlayStation, it does the same thing. It satisfies one place in the boot up procedure, and from then on out you're fine. Once it boots, you're good. So once the MPEM boots up and sees this chip, it doesn't read it ever again. I could disconnect this out of the circuit and it doesn't care. Not that I'd want to do that, but if I put this on and this isn't there, it'll act like there's not the proper key on it. You'll get the 1 long beep. So there's a little bit of diagnostics for you. If it's not reading your programmed key, you'll get the 1 long beep when you go to start it, and no acknowledgement of the key being inserted or installed. So you put this on, you can leave this in circuit, it won't cause any issue at all. It will only respond to the magnet. As a matter of fact, it will respond to any magnet. So you're not really disabling this security system. It's not a permanent modification, because there's going to be a bullet connector here, a ring terminal here. There's going to be an adhesive. I'm going to seal this and heat shrink it so that it is securely all fastened together. And by the way, you can't see it, but I have actually crimped the wires into this and then used zip ties to just secure the wires so they don't actually become disconnected from here. The zip ties are more of a strain relief, but this will be enclosed in the airtight electrical box away from harm, and it will be basically zip tied to the rest of the harness in there, so it won't be moving around, so it'll be nice and safe. And then I can take this $23 lanyard and use it as if it was that, with the rubber still attached to it. So you know, like I said, there's various options. None of them are particularly cheap. The cheapest one is to still buy this and then get like a $65 aftermarket MPEM. That's your cheapest option, is $80-something. And then you have to rely on, you're kind of at the mercy of the quality of that MPEM, and you know, that doesn't sound great for me or for most people. Now if I needed an MPEM, I would do that, no question, but I don't, so I'm not, that seems wasteful to me. Going to the dealer, it's going to cost you probably over $100, plus your, in my case, a couple hours each way of drive time, so I'd have to take off from working and running a business and all the other things that I do, and that would just be excessive. Or I'd be paying tolls, and that would be probably $30 for the round trip. So, you know, it adds up quick, and this didn't cost me anything. It cost me just replacing the lanyard. So the only downside to this, the only thing you're going to take away from the functionality of the machine, and I'll explain why that's actually not a problem for most people. This white wire is going to be disconnected inside the electrical box. So that nub on the end of the DESS post that's connected to the white wire with the gray tracer is no longer going to be connected there. The issue with that is the interface for your Seadoo or your buds or any other type of interface that you could connect to the DESS post system. It will no longer interface with that. For me, that's not a problem because I don't have those. And if I did have those, I would be able to program this key to my MPEM and we wouldn't even be doing this. So I would say that'd be the case for pretty much everybody. So if you have Seadoo or buds or any other system that you can use to interface and program keys, this doesn't apply to you, and neither would the downside of not having the interface connected to the DESS post anymore. So anyway, hopefully that helps y'all. Of course, I'll be putting some videos out of the machine itself. I got some work to do to that and get it on the water, hopefully this week or next week. But I figured I'd share that with y'all. It seems to be a lot of people talk about having rotten keys and having to go to their dealer, and maybe they had an issue with their local dealer, or maybe they mailed their stuff off to somebody, or you know, this just might be an alternative solution for some people who are a little more adventurous. So anyway, hopefully that helps some of y'all, and if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and you know the deal. I'll see you next time.